Hello.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Hello. This is your boy Ryan,
It's your boy Easy.
and you are listening and or watching Turtle Soup, the internet nay the world's only community support podcast dedicated to the ongoing journey of the TMNT all the way from the very beginning
Woo.
until Eric finally creates a rehab video for those that have pulled their back due to allergies.
Yeah.
As we received word on Facebook in the Turtle Soup Facebook group, which if you aren't a member, you should be, from our dear Turtletarian, Chris Garvey, that he had pulled his back out the exact same way.
Oh man, I missed
I
that.
tagged Eric in a comment and said that he needed to go ahead and uncap the secrets of how to recover from such a malady, and he has not responded.
Yeah, I must have missed that.
Until Eric does that, we're going to be doing the show, and after that, who knows? He's got a lot to make up for.
I do.
He's got a lot to make up for. I don't know if that's going to fix everything, but maybe.
Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? It's up there.
Yeah. So that's what's up there. You know what I'm saying? We are live on YouTube, as I'm sure you're aware. Be sure to subscribe, like and comment on a video, hit the bell icon, get all the notifications. That super helps out the channel a lot. We're growing subs at a very steady rate. We love that. If you're not subbed yet, hop on YouTube and just make that happen, guys, because that helps the show innumerously. You know what I'm saying? More than you can believe.
It does.
There are some things I don't believe in the real world sometimes. I'll be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a big skeptic. I'm not that cynical. You know me, Eric.
I do. I know you well.
But sometimes it's hard for me to believe how many awesome patrons we have and how much they help the Foot Clan not destroy the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Help us not say Clang. They back up that crucial Splinter and April support from the first game.
They totally do.
They back that up. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna see later in this episode, Splinter shouts out his support on the episode.
He does.
On the animated series episode. He does that. I'm gonna show you when, okay? But there are two people today we have to mention.
We do.
To support the living hell out of this show. And that is Mick Lockyer and Noah Overton. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Your boy Noah was in that pregame chat just earlier. You know what I'm saying? Hitting it up, drinking, waiting for those damn fires to end in California. And all the Turtle Soup love goes out to everybody over there dealing with all that stuff, man.
Yeah.
But you guys are amazing, and it is all for y'all.
It is.
Guess what else is up?
What? What is up?
You know what? I think we're gonna flip this. Eric, where are we at on the journey? Because we got something very important to announce. But, but let's go ahead and get out of the way. What are we doing today? What are we doing today?
We got a couple things. We do have some news, and we'll get to that because some things happened this week that were pretty important. But we're gonna wait. You're gonna have to hold on, baby
big
birds.
News segment.
We're gonna feed you on that one. But goodness.
Be regurgitating.
So
hey, look, you don't like it, but this is what peak performance looks like. You know
that is what
that's what it looks like.
So well, speaking of peak performance, way back in 1996, Ryan, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series from 1987 had been going for like almost 10 years, so 10 seasons.
The forever time.
And we will be reviewing the third episode of that 10th season. It's entitled The Power of Three. And we're going to be talking about that. And that's going to be a lot of fun. So that's what we're doing today. That's where we're at in the journey.
Whew. Okay, so this is a big one, guys. We've been talking about this for a hot minute. A long time ago, we dropped this. Longtime Turtletarians will remember this. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, wait a minute. Y'all bringing that back? Y'all didn't forget about it?
Right.
No, we didn't forget about it. You know, so we've been biding our time.
Exactly.
Hiding in the brush, hanging back in the cut, as some people may say. Waiting. Now's the time, guys. So we are reviewing the third episode of the 10th and final season of the animated series. It is now time to begin the process of deciding which Turtletarian will receive my own copy of the Turtle Van complete series. You know what I'm saying? I gotta admit, this is hard for me to part with.
It's true.
I watched every one of those discs one time only.
One time.
Because you don't need to watch anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Watch it one time. That's the whole damn thing. You're gonna get it out of my dirty paws. We might even sign it for you. You know what I'm saying? It's all up to you. we're doing a giveaway, and the rules are pretty simple. Okay, I'm gonna lay them out, and we're gonna be talking about the rules of the giveaway, trying to get people into the giveaway. Every episode we do the animated series, so that is the next 8 episodes. We're gonna be hitting this hard because we want y'all to win that. You know what I'm saying? But it's a giveaway, and it works kind of like a raffle. Okay, so I'm gonna lay this out. So you ready?
Yeah, lay it out.
Okay. So to win, basically this is a raffle contest. Okay, so you get a certain amount of tickets based on stuff you do, right? And it's not a lot of stuff to do.
No,
not much. You know what I'm saying? Number one, you must be a subscriber on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? That gets you 1 ticket to entry, and that's
barrier
a
to entry.
You know what I'm saying? You got to be subscribed on YouTube. That's barrier to entry, required. You become a subscriber on YouTube, you automatically entered into the drawing. You know what I'm saying? That's one entry, 1 ticket. You know what I'm saying? The second one is if you comment on a video, any video, you get another ticket.
Right.
That's 1 more ticket. You know, that's 1 more ticket. No, that's 2 tickets.
No.
Now, our patrons, we love our patrons.
Yeah, we do.
Just for being a patron, guys, and you can be a patron in as little as $1, okay? As little as $1 a month.
Yep.
To support us and not have the show say Clang.
Exactly.
You will get another ticket, okay? So if you subscribe on YouTube, barrier to entry, get you in there. If you comment on a video, that's 2 tickets. If you're a patron, if you're on Patreon, you're a patron, that's 3 tickets. The last way to get a ticket, okay, a fourth and final ticket, is we're going to be launching an email contest. Now the details of that aren't ready yet. We'll definitely announce it. But it is going to be a reverse Turtles Come Out and Fight That. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is Eric and I are gonna craft an excellent Turtles Come Out and Fight That scenario. Okay. And email the show with your answer, how did the Turtles come out and fight that for you? You know what I'm saying? We're putting you in our seat. You know what I'm saying? You got to come up with how they fight that.
Right.
Everybody who sends an email for that is going to get an extra entry into the thing. And that email contest is a separate giveaway contest for a prize we have yet to determine. So there will be a top 3 winners of that, and y'all are all getting something anyway. I mean, you just get that if you're top 3 of that whole thing.
Right.
So that's the ways. Okay. So at first you're like, God, that man, like, cause we're kind of writing this up. We're like, man, is that too many ways?
Yeah.
But not really, man. Subscribe, comment on a video, be on Patreon, enter the email contest. That's 4 opportunities. At the minimum, you can just subscribe on YouTube. That's just 1 ticket.
That's just 1 ticket.
Win it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But message to the patrons, and we'll be sending this out over Patreon just in case. If you're a patron, you have to be subscribed on YouTube to be entered.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but the minute you subscribe on YouTube, that's 2 tickets.
Yeah.
And we're going to be drawing this at the end of the animated series. So, like, we still got the bots. Your boy got the bots.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I kept the box.
I'm proud of you.
We kept that. Got that Vans in perfect shape, y'all.
That's
you know what I'm saying? Like I said, slightly used.
Slightly used.
Ryan, just 1 time.
Right.
One time. Okay. But yeah, we're doing that. So we mentioned that way back. I mean, I can't even tell you when we mentioned that.
Yeah.
But we mentioned that a long time ago when we got a copy of that from me. And it was like, look, we're going to give this thing away when we're done with this damn animated series.
Yeah.
That time's come.
Yeah.
Okay? So do your thing.
And
all the 4 things, we're going to try to get the rules for this in the description of the video. As well as, like, you know, posting it on the Facebook group, everything like that. We're going to get all the rules out. But that's basically it. You got to be subscribed on YouTube, and then there's all the other ways you can get more chances.
Right.
To win.
There you go. Now, I just want to peel the curtain back a little bit. Ryan had initially said, "Yeah, let's do it. We're going to do the giveaway." I think it was his idea.
You're going to peel it back on me.
I'm going to peel it back.
Okay, we're peeling it back.
And then whenever we brought it back up, because him and I both had kind of like, with everything going on, it was on the back burner, and then we remembered.
Kind of forgot about it a little bit.
Then we're like, oh yeah, we said we were going to give this away, and we're almost done with season 10. And then he's like, oh man, I don't know, man. I'm kind of like, he said that he has it. He said that he has it on his nightstand, and like he caresses it, like it even has its own bed that he tucks it in. Yeah, and it's super cute. But he said, you know what? Like, he's like, give me a day and let me think about it. And I was like, all right, because we'll figure something out. Well, you know, our fans are amazing, and so they'll understand, and we'll work something out. We'll make it right. But he's after 24 hours, to the T, to the time, to the dot, whatever. Like, he he called me and he was like, you know what? For the fans, we got to do it. I got to let it go. You know,
I mean,
if you love something, you let it go.
I got to give it up. You know what I mean? Like, I got to admit though, like all joking aside, when the day came, I was like,
yeah,
what? So there's a little tenderhearted going on right here. I'm telling you, man. I've lived with this box set, bro. Like, I've been watching these. This is like, and honestly, like, I'm never gonna need it again for the show. So it's a bit of a bitter parting on my part.
It is.
But I'm excited about it. I really want it to go to somebody who's gonna really cherish it and give it a good home and have fun with it. You know what I'm saying? So so those are all the ways to enter. You can subscribe today. You can comment on video today. Live chat doesn't count, unfortunately, because that's live chat. Okay, so you got to comment, like a comment on a video that's already a video.
And if you want, and if you're like, what do I comment on? Well, if you haven't noticed, or if you've not come over to YouTube yet, we have a news ticker that's at the bottom of all of our videos with like a couple of questions, and they recycle like every 60 seconds. So if you want to comment on those, that's probably going to be your best bet. And we'll reply and we'll talk and stuff like that. So it's a good open dialogue and it's a fun thing to do. And plus you could win. So that's if you're having trouble figuring out what to say.
Answer any of the ticker questions. Drop whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? That's how you can comment on a video. But yeah, that's another way to get another ticket. And as we all know, because I'm awful at raffles, I'm only won one raffle in my entire life. The more tickets. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
like,
the more tickets.
You're gonna be going back to college. That's all I'm saying.
Goodness.
So anyway, that's all that. If you have any questions, just once again email turtleshoupshow@gmail.com. And if you have any questions about the contest, let us know, and we'll try to answer those for you. But yeah, guys, 8 weeks sounds like a long time, but as we know, sometimes, times get ahead of you. You know what I mean? Like sometimes when does a fly know when to fly? Yeah, and you will just have to answer that for yourself and try to make the right call.
It's true.
And enter the contest. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's what we're doing. So, Eric, this news segment, man.
Yes.
It's pretty exciting.
It is.
I'm pretty damn hype. Are you ready? Are you ready to get into this, man?
I think so.
Are you ready to make this happen?
I think so. We have news. All right. So now,
video game news.
Yes. Woo. So news, video game news to be specific, and this is super exciting. I am salivating at the mouth. I am sweating profusely at the thought of this game and the more news that's going to come out about it, Ryan. I'm so excited. And the game we're talking about is Shredder's Revenge.
Profusely.
You're sweating profusely. That's probably the best way to sweat. I haven't perfected that art yet, but
it's rare. It's rare when it happens. But when I saw some of this alpha gameplay footage and these trailers, I was like, is that my eau de toilette? You know what I'm saying? Like I have no idea.
So let's see here. So a while back, let's see, when was it? March of this year, 2021. They dropped a trailer, and by the developer is Tribute Games Inc. Now they had a hand in the Scott Pilgrim vs. the World game, which was a super fun side scroller beat 'em up. Which I don't know if you can see it behind me. I actually have it over here, the limited run games version, and it's a fantastic game. Yeah, can you see it? Let me grab it.
Yes.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, sorry.
All right.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, this was this just came out, and it was like, it wasn't a Kickstarter, it was more like a pre-order, if I'm not mistaken. And but I loved this game so much. It was like the best of side-scrolling. Well, I love Scott Pilgrim anyway, but like side-scrolling beat 'em ups and a little bit of RPG elements in it and things like that. It was just like perfection in my opinion. And so Tribute Games had a hand in that, and they're the developer on Shredder's Revenge. The publisher is .emu, which they, I believe, were most recently involved with the Streets of Rage 4, which Farmer Greg, part of Turtle Soup family, him and I played that game a bit, and I enjoyed it a ton, and it looked beautiful. It was super fun and very similar, that it's like the side-scrolling beat-em-ups that a lot of us grew up with, and most of them were like with the turtles. The first the first three? No, the second, the third, and then there was Turtles in Time. And so it's
that TMNT arcade game, man. The arcade game experience, hard to beat it.
It's very hard
talking about it.
And because it's something about it, just it encapsulated your imagination and just made you want to spend more money and just put more quarters in. Everything about it was like it was palpable, like you could just like feel it all around you. And it was like a spiritual experience, if you will. So .emu did Streets of Rage 4. Tribute Games did Scott Pilgrim. So you got two heavy hitters like that made really good games in this style coming at you with Shredder's Revenge. Now, the trailer dropped, the original one, March 2021, and we're going to have it in the description below so you can check it out if you haven't seen it yet. And something I was not expecting, Ryan, was Mike Patton of Faith No More and Mr. Bungle performs the intro song, which...
That's my boy Mike.
Is insane.
That's my boy Mike. I'm a fan.
Yeah, I am too, and it was great. And the pregame, which I'm assuming is the pregame, what do they call that? Whenever you're waiting to press start, and then all of a sudden it rolls. Like, is that just like a pre-roll or something? There's probably a term for it. But that looks gorgeous. So you'd be better off to go look at it if you haven't seen it already. Mm-hmm. However, that was what we had until the 25th of August of this, 2021. At Gamescom, they debuted a new trailer for the game, and I believe we have. Hold on, I'm getting word. I think we have on the TV. I think it's plugged in and ready to go. I have to. Let me double check something. But
Vernon? Is that Vernon telling us this video is ready to go?
It could be Mr. Thompson telling us it's ready to go. We're gonna review this and watch this in real time with y'all and check it out. This new reveal, which well, let's just get to it. Let's just cut to the TV, Ryan. We're gonna cut to the TV.
Yeah, come on.
So here we go.
Turn it on.
All right.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. So we got Leo, got Donnie, you got Raph, you got Mikey. What's this? April O'Neil. Oh snap!
That's pretty huge.
Goodness,
like the color depth and everything, and like the action looks so great.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Love the animation with her. Oh yeah, and then they're going for like the anime style art, like when it's not like the sprite art.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah. It's oh my god, and I love that there's Rat King. Oh snap, yeah.
Oh yeah,
and they do have
Android body head.
Yep. Interesting. And I can't remember if it's in this trailer or not, but they do show there it is, multiple colored, different colored foot soldiers.
Oh, I mean that's a hallmark. You gotta have that.
Oh, you have to.
You gotta have the multicolored guys. Oh my god, like, oh man, with shields.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I love that art. Like that art is like.
Yeah, the art is fantastic.
Art is gold, man. I mean, and those sprites are so good looking.
It is. And then lastly, there's this little bit right here where she's helping the turtles up with some pizza. And so there you go. As you do. And so
as you do.
Yeah, so we have some so I took some screenshots. Let me see if I can bring that over to the television if I can. Here we go. And yeah, so let's talk about this a little bit. So April O'Neil is a playable character. They talked about how she uses her weapons. Her weapons here are a microphone, and she also has a camera that she can spin around and like use to just like knock people out. And that's so good. Like I love it.
Oh, it's like a hammer. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's
fantastic. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, it's like a sledge or like Shao Kahn's hammer, if you will.
Yeah.
So yeah, and she is probably the like the big draw of this thing, but we're seeing a lot of other stuff in this trailer that some of the stuff we hadn't seen, and most of it we have, but there's a couple other things. But more on April. She does this move where she can drop the mic, like she knocks this foot soldier out, and then she drops the mic on him and he disappears. Like that's pretty rad. And so that. Then we figure out, as we keep watching the trailer, they do show us like for those who still haven't seen it, none of it is, they're not telling us anything. It's all just visual cues. Well, one thing we do see is that Leo balls her up and takes her and put like just fastball special right down the middle, knocking out some foot soldiers. That's pretty awesome. So we got team moves, and that's not all.
Yes,
we get this. So a very Calipigious April throws it back with Leonardo throwing his Calipigious self back towards a foot soldier to knock him out.
That's that shell on shell action.
That's that shell on shell action.
I forgot what they call that. There's a name for that.
I'm sure there is
a name for when they do that.
Yeah, let us know.
Remember.
Yeah, let us know. Email us or put it in the comments below, and let us know if you know the name of that. But yeah, and she can also, as we saw at the end and we just mentioned, she can revive turtles with pizza. Now, I don't know if that's going to be like one of her special moves or what, but it's just what they showed us, and that's what they told us. And if the turtles have told us anything, we can count on them. So that's mostly about April. She looks fantastic. It's not like a tacked on kind of thing. It seems like she had knew that they were doing this going in. So a couple other things I wanted to talk about as far as what's in the trailer, real quick, just real quick run through in case still you haven't seen it. And I don't know, I'm just so giddy about this, Ryan. I hope y'all forgive me if I get too into the weeds here, but here we go. Some things we saw. So we saw Bebop and Rocksteady, a giant chrome dome. Now this was in both trailers. I'm comparing both trailers now. A giant chrome dome. Bebop and Rocksteady. We saw Baxter Stockman, Mousers, Bebop's monster truck from the Manhattan Projects game, which is insane.
Yeah,
that's even. Yeah, I loved that. Like I thought that it was a toy and there might have been. I just couldn't find it, but definitely it was a reference to the game. And we also see a Triceraton. Mikey has his nunchucks, which is good because we don't need that grappling hook.
Finally, don't need that whitewash anymore on that thing.
Right. We see turtles on surfboards. We see the Technodrome, Krang's android body head.
In that shot with Rat King, in that level with Rat King, I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's over there, and it looked melted, it was melted because it was. So Rat King jumps on the foot ski, which is in there, which was from the games too, back in the day. And it's just strange that his head, and I think it shows up somewhere else, like in one of the Channel 6 newsrooms, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So there's that. We mentioned multicolored foot soldiers, and I know that's a huge thing for you. Like that's one of your things that, like you said, you're not playing unless that's in there.
I mean, I don't know how into it I can get. You know what I'm saying? But like, if you're going side scroller, you're trying to go after the feel of that arcade game experience. A side scroller, you got to get those foot soldiers in different colors and have them have different weapons. I really like seeing the one foot soldier with the shield.
Oh yeah,
that was super cool. He had like a full length shield. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Oh yeah,
I was a big fan of that.
So we have Channel 6 stage. Let's see, we have there's sewer stages and all kinds of other things. We see a lot of Channel 6 in these trailers. There's a zoo stage, apparently. So either it's a zoo or it's more of that room that Dregg had the turtles go to. Well, he didn't have them. They just mistakenly went to in the second episode of Season 10. But let's see. The transport module shows up, which is clutch for old school video games. And I think that... And finally, I think the last trailer ends with this. Or the first trailer does. Where they throw the foot soldiers towards the screen, which is how you had to beat Shredder, I think, in Turtles in Time. You had to throw him towards the screen, which was amazing back in the day. Like that broke my brain.
I love that.
Now I have a question for you, Ryan, real quick. So it looks as though, I forgot to mention, Splinter is in the first trailer in the animation.
Yes.
So is April.
He's animated, yeah.
And April is seen actually actively fighting, I think, some mousers. And so is Splinter. Now, do you think that this is indicative that Splinter is going to be another playable character that they mention?
Oh yeah. No, like honestly, I think the fact that Splinter's in the art means he will be.
Yeah.
Because April's in the art too. I think that they're letting this slowly kind of slide because this game's not due to come out until Q1 2022.
Yeah, 2022 is all they've given us, really.
So they've got the fall and winter to kind of get into this.
Yeah,
I think he'll be playable. I would not be surprised if you see more playable characters.
Yeah,
or more characters that you can open up, because if they have access to all that, it's kind of hard. I mean, like, you got to be working with Viacom nowadays to make that thing. And you could probably get like some Punk Frogs going on. You could probably get, I mean, like, you never know, or maybe they're saving that for later.
They might be.
I'm just really excited because the game looks gorgeous. And I would not be surprised if Splinter is playable. I love the idea that April seems like a support character. That's important because she offered us her support. She did. She let us know that. So and Splinter too. I think it'd be really cool to have a couple support characters in there. I mean, they can still kick ass, but they have like healer capabilities. They have stuff like that, because like that's going to open the dimension of that game up like massively.
Oh yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that. God, we're gonna be on it day and date, man.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna be.
We got plans to cover this in a way to play this game on the show and stuff, and I'm really excited, man.
Right.
Like, where are you at on this? Like, I feel like I can almost answer for you, but like, I mean, where do you stand right now on
it? I am channel 6 to midnight, if you know what I'm saying, and it is. Yeah, I am just giddy beyond belief. Like, if there's a physical release, I'm probably gonna get it, like, hands down, day and date, more than likely. Probably gonna play it on the Switch, because that's mostly where I play a lot of my games now. Yeah, other than that, I'm super stoked on it. The art's fantastic. I think Splinter, I agree, I think Splinter is going to be the next reveal, because they don't want to show the whole hand while they still have more time.
Oh, no.
And I can definitely see them doing Casey, throwing Casey in there as a DLC, and I'm trying to think. They could potentially throw any, because it seems like a lot of this is based on the animated series. So there is so we're dealing in that realm, and so it'd be kind of cool to get like Mona Lisa or Rex 1
or like Mondo Gecko.
Mondo Gecko, yeah.
Mondo Gecko would be easy to put in that game because he's kind of made for it.
Oh yeah, totally. Except, well, I was thinking, like, because, back in the day, a lot of it was like resource management with those video games. Like, they only had so many colors and so many sprites and things they could use. So like, if you had a character that is like known to have a skateboard constantly, then like having him on a surfboard with the skateboard might be a little much, but like, whatever. It's like you just roll with it, I guess. But
hey man, you literally, because he's got to.
He has no choice.
Literally. So I don't see a way around it.
Right. So I definitely think Splinter's going to be the next. He's the only other person, from what I can recall and what I saw, that is in the trailer that we haven't seen yet, and he's actively fighting in the trailer, just like April was. So stands to reason that would be another hallmark for what's to come. And this looks gorgeous, and I believe it's multiplayer. It's going to probably have online and couch co-op, just like Scott Pilgrim did, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that is all they've really said. Now, they did say it's Switch, I think Switch, Windows, and other consoles is what they say.
Xbox. So in the trailer, in the trailer, it has the icons for.
Oh, it does.
PlayStation, PS4, Xbox One, I think, Nintendo Switch, and Windows.
Okay,
it has all four of those.
I must have missed that.
It's gonna be available on all the platforms.
When I read the copy, I guess, that came out to a lot of the news sites and stuff, I think the verbiage just said other consoles, and that might be because they didn't want to go into PS3 or PS4, PS5,
PS5,
Xbox,
no, it's true.
Pizza Box, whatever it is. And so
Although neither of us know the name of the new Xbox console, we're like Xbox X-Bone,
yeah, exactly, X-Bone. In the chat though, we have reporting in Adam Winters. He has a couple of comments. He says Rainbow Mika eat your heart out, which is a reference, I believe, to the Street Fighter character Rainbow Mika, who has a move where she thrusts her rear at her opponents, and so there you go. I agree with that. He says that the term for that with the turtles, where they slam their shells together, is shell slam, but in Secret of the Ooze, the movie 2, it was called Wishbone Crunch, and so that yeah,
I thought that move came from a movie. I think it's movie 2. Yeah,
okay,
like that's a move. That's a Turtles move. I'm really glad that April can do it too. That's sick.
Totally. And M. Wilson in the chat, I think he's trying to speak into existence. Thirsty Irma is what he said. And so if you could get Irma and Rex One as a tag team in this, whoo, that'd be sick.
And Irma's sprite from this game with that art style might find its way onto my actual body.
Yeah,
like it might actually find its way onto my body.
Right,
like, Let me tell you something. If you wind up with some Rex One, then I might have to get the 2 of those in a little heart somewhere.
Oh, we can get like
like that.
Yeah, we could get a tandem tattoo, like where they're doing their power move, and we just put our arms together, or like our hips or something.
Oh, like a Battlestar thing, so that when we hug, it's also they join.
Exactly. Yes,
I'm sure
that's
our
exactly
wives
what we
will
need
have
to do.
zero problem with that.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Well, it's easier.
No problems.
It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. So
that is a fact. But yeah, man, I like. Stay tuned, guys, for some more. Anything more they drop on this, we're gonna drop whatever our opinions, what we think. Show you guys the new stuff.
Yeah,
this has the potential to be like one of the best Turtles games to come out in the last decade or more.
It does,
just based on how it looks. But yeah, just stay tuned, and we'll keep you up to date with more news on this game.
Yep. And we're back.
Tidy news segment, sir.
That was. I liked it. Woo. Good.
Like it. That video, my man. That video played perfectly. You know
it did.
It was the audio podcast. You need to go check it out on YouTube because he played that video, went right in the TV.
It did. It went right into the TV. Yeah, no, I was like sweating through it because I did some sort of arcane magic that I'm sure like normal YouTubers and streamers have done, like with OBS, but like I'm like discovering things I've done wrong. It's a mess, but the fact that it worked, I was impressed. So not gonna lie.
I'm glad. I'm looking forward to seeing more of that game. That's going to be.
Oh yeah.
I cannot wait to play that together.
I know it's going to be fun.
Highlight.
Yeah, we're going to have to do something for the show and have it to where we can like live stream it or whatever. But I'm sure we'll figure it out.
Figure that out in a big way. In a
big way.
Speaking of big ways and big things, are you ready to get into this big 3rd episode of season 10?
I think so. I think I am.
I mean, Thirsty Irma M. Love it.
Yep.
Just love it.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. It's power 3. You know what I'm saying? That's all you have to know. Mm-hmm. There's not much more required to get in the front door, except to know that this is the 3rd episode of the 10th season and final season of the 1987 TMNT animated series. It aired September 28th of 1996. It was written by Jeffrey Scott and directed by Tony Love, as is this entire final season. No ABC Action Zone.
Yeah, that was strange.
We're out of the Action Zone.
Mm-hmm.
We're out of it. It's gone. And here we are. We just get a cold open. Well, not cold open, because you got to listen to 2 minutes of that song.
Ugh.
But after that, after a full 2 minutes, you can see your episode. All right. So once again, the power of 3, everybody. We're going back to college on this. Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh,
let's do it.
We open up in a nightmare hellscape of demon creatures and traps. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The Turtles and Carter are there. It's a real cold open. As you can see on the screen, that guy looks like a butthole. And that other guy looks like an old angry Pokemon.
He-
That's what you come into.
He totally does.
That's what you come into. The gentleman on the left looks like something out of All Real Monsters. That'd probably be a nicer.
That's a better way. Yes.
A better way to say it. You could also say he looks like a rectum. But anyway, Mikey, the Turtles, and Carter are just in this jam. They're just this is life, and there are other things that look like orifices shooting out spikes.
Yeah.
And you get no explanation. Well, they decide they got to make it through these traps, and Mikey goes leading the charge. But eventually, he's alone, and he runs into this crazy dragon creature that has a mouth inside a mouth.
Yeah.
And yeah, see that?
Yeah.
That's premium.
Yeah.
That's premium Nightmare Landscape guy.
Oh yeah.
That's enough to have Mikey try to jump across a chasm, but that doesn't work. And he plummets to his doom. Inside the lair. You know what I'm saying? We're back in the lair. Mikey wakes up screaming. The Turtles and Carter are like, dude, I love this. They kind of walk in casually. They're like, hey, man, it's cool, man. It's a dream, bro.
Yeah.
And Mikey's like, nah, it felt too real. Like, that felt too real. And they're like, dude, I mean, it's just a dream. And then Mikey just dead ass says, like, I feel like that dream is trying to tell me something.
Yep.
I think it's trying to tell me we won't make it back from our next battle.
Ooh.
It's pretty dark.
It is pretty dark.
That's how you open it up. You open it up to rectum monster, mouth in a mouth.
Mouth in a mouth.
Fall. Hey, man, it's just a dream. Nah, we're doomed.
Just a dream. That's it. But, like, you know what's...
That's your first 30 seconds of the show. Right.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I forgot. This just reminded me. Seeing this, I don't know why. I used to have this like joke about my sister having a mouth within a mouth, and that like it was always like,
what?
Yeah.
It wasn't enough that you called her gravedigger.
Right. Yeah.
You also did that. Okay.
Yeah. That for some, but I think it was about like her like stealing like chicken fingers or something. Like I don't know if it was like, I don't think it was anything like inappropriate, but for some reason I don't even remember the genesis. I just remember like talking about like making that joke that she had I would do the whole thing with my hand, and yeah, it was for some reason, and that killed at church camp. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Nice.
But anyway,
but later on, she gets you back with that sweet blue balls joke and destroy your face.
Oh yeah, totally.
All leading up to that.
Yep.
That was her Pikachu.
That was
Krista's Pikachu moment right there. So aboard the Dreadnought, Dregg and Mung are at a fancy table, enjoying a meal. Mung's just pigging out, and they're being waited on by the Bat Dudes.
Yeah,
they're just like, Bat Dudes keep bringing food, but your boy Dregg is not in the mood for eating, even though he has little courses himself laid out there. I always like to imagine that's where like him and High Tech ate.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and now it's just a new dude at the table. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that could be
Dregg's heartless.
That could be why he was like adamant about getting the High Tech out of there. Not just because he's thinking like ahead. He's like, we're gonna have to eat later. This is gonna be awkward. I only have 2 chairs.
Yeah.
Gotta do something.
Yeah. I mean, you'd think that those yeah. I just love how like that's a table. I love that like the table has like a weird like concave indentation in the middle for no reason, but that it's tech.
It's tech.
It's a tech table, so it can't be completely flat. It has to have like something going on.
It does. I bet it's a receptacle for like their garbage. Like they just throw it in there. Like it opens up and you throw the stuff in there.
Okay.
I think that's probably what it'll be.
I'm about that.
Yeah.
So Mung is not in the Dregg is not in the whining and dining mood. He's like, look, man, you eat too much. Tell me what's going on. So Mung's like, hey, Dregg, my microbots are currently constructing the new vortex transporter. That's happening at the power plant on Earth. That there's just not any security there ever, and it never was, and now we just own it. So Indian River Energy Center. That's just mine. I own that, and we're working on the next vortex transporter. That's when Dregg's like, all right, well, I'll give you something. So it turns out that since I finally isolated the genetic mutations in the turtles, I just need to extract that stuff from them so I can transform myself into something bigger and better. You know what I'm saying? Like I can be even better. And I'm sure Mung at some point was like, yeah, but didn't you say if you got like this whole season's been about like if you get a little piece of something, like I had a little piece of turtle shell,
Yeah.
a little piece of the vortex, then you could do crazy shit. But like now it's like, well, I guess not. I guess like you need to go suck it out of them.
Yeah.
But Mung's like, cool, we can work on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I love the conversation here though, because then after that, Mung's like, oh yeah, that's cool, man. Oh, by the way, he's like eating in the middle of it. I actually really like the scene. He's like, by the way, man. So I met a couple cats in Dimension X, man. Their names were Shardak and Krem? No. It was Shredder and Krang. Anyway, those cats told me that they fought the turtles for like years.
Mm-hmm.
And and then Mung specifically remembers, he goes, and then this guy Shredder told me that he zapped the turtles with a miniaturization ray, and they killed him. And then we're treated, while he's saying this, we're treated to an actual like an image of this like happening, like a little like thing. He's doing a voiceover, and he turns the turtles really small, and then Krang is in his AT-AT walker body, and he's like, yeah, turtle, shut your mouth, and then he steps on him, and that's the end. But then Mung comes back to the present, and he's like, yeah, but obviously like that Shredder dude's lying, because like, you know,
they're still here.
Turtles out here, you know.
Yeah.
Although this does get Dregg's gears turning, though. He's like, oh, just in Dimension X, and I got a vortex going. Okay, I got a vortex transporter in just a second. Let me scheme with my sharp teeth.
Right.
Okay. So that's happening. So back at the lair, this is we're gonna need to break this down, Eric. You're
okay.
Ready? We need to break, but because the next series of events, I'm like, what's happening? So back in the lair, Donnie has finally, at long last, figured out a way to use his vortex laser to fix Carter's mutations. He's like, I got it fixed. Like, now it's going to match up with Carter's DNA. So, I got to cure it, baby. Right behind this button. You know what I'm saying? Just press a button, cure your ass. But Carter starts to think. He starts to have second thoughts about even getting cured, which makes sense, right? Because Splinter has been just walking around, hammering home these whole, like, you know, you're special because of your mutation, and you make your mutation special, and what happens to a butterfly, and like all this stuff. And like, and honestly, Splinter's been driving home kind of a message of like, maybe you're good like you are, man. Like maybe it's Providence. That's what Splinter's been dropping. And Splinter's like, yo, I was a human, y'all, and like these 4 turtles were just little baby turtles, bro.
Right.
But like, we got mutated, and look at these cats now. Like they're the TMNT. Now I'm old Dad Splinter with my burnt Cheeto. Look at me, man. I'm good. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I can tell you from this side through, mutation ain't so bad. You know what I'm saying? Every once in a while, they turn me back to Hamayoshi for a minute, and I get to be human. And I'm like, oh, I mean, you use my body. And then he's like, oh, well, no, but I'm back to Splinter. And he seems to be okay with it. So it's not, I just want to open this up by saying it's not unusual that Carter has second thoughts about being cured, because it's been the theme of the entire season. Has been like, Carter, like, you're bummed out about not getting changed back, but man, maybe that's a good thing, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's the thing they're definitely hitting home is kind of just accept. Well, I mean, you could take it a couple different ways. You could just say accept the situations that you're in and just like do what you can. Which only goes so far, but I think though the thing that I want to talk about though with this is that Carter, the main reason Carter's here is because he investigated the turtles, presumably using the internet, and triangulated where their next attack was going to be, or their next battle, or whatever. And then he went to find them so that he could train under Master Splinter, Hamatoyoshi. And we have yet to really see any of that. I think we may have saw like 1 or 2 scenes of him actually even interacting with Splinter, because most of the time he's with Donnie T, and that makes me think that Carter might be a fan of that reach, if you know what I'm saying. And so I mean, and that's all fine and good. If Donnie T and him find love, then we're here for that. Like, we support that. So, but we're not the biggest fan of Carter's, but we love Donnie, and we'll support him with whoever he chooses to spend his life with.
Carter's gotten better.
He has.
Carter's gotten better. I mean, like, he came in real hot. He's gotten better, more respectful. I think we are supposed to believe that Splinter has been teaching him kind of in the background, and I accept that.
I get it, but like he doesn't like acknowledge this at all. Like it's not like that and I guess I could see from like a human perspective, like where you're thinking about like this disposition that you're in, that you might want to like that overtakes your main reason for being somewhere. However, you knew that Splinter was... Well, I don't remember if he knew that Splinter was a mutant. I don't think he did. No, he didn't know that Splinter was...
No, he didn't. He came looking for Hamato Yoshi.
That's right.
Heard he was in the sewers, and then saw he was Splinter.
Yeah. Right. So once you're there and you realize that the sensei you wanted is actually a mutant rat, and his 4 sons are mutant turtles, and now you are also a mutant, it would seem like that would line up with like your intentions. Like that would be like, oh, well, this is kind of what I want to be.
Being a mutant lines up with the intention. I also don't think that having a group return to Savage Dragon Big Bird is probably like was tops on your list when you came down looking for the teachings of the one true Footmaster.
That's true.
Like I don't know if that was all like maybe that was in the terms and conditions and he said agree, install. Maybe he didn't like look.
Right.
Like
he didn't look.
You
didn't read it.
Like yeah,
maybe
he's got that 5G in him. Who knows? But the thing is, I don't think all that. Maybe they stuck a quarter to him. I mean,
they probably did. They probably did.
Happen. Even though quarters are non-ferrous, they can't stick to magnetics. I don't understand. Yeah. But it works. It works in the itty bitty. So my thing is like. I don't think all that was like on the menu for Carter.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, like so Carter wonders aloud audibly. He goes, "Man, how do I make this difficult decision about being a mutant or not being a mutant?" Yeah. And then of course a wild Splinter appears. You know what I'm saying? Your boy Splinter's like, "Oh, I heard that it's my time to do a thing."
Out of the tall grass.
And now we're gonna break this down. Out of the tall grass, here comes your boy. He says, "When does a fly know?" Oh my God, my notes are terrible here. Oh, yeah, right here.
Yeah, right.
When does the fly decide to fly?
Yeah.
He says that. And Raph's like, when it sees a fly swatter, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Splinter used to do it, you know what I'm saying? But guys, I'm a right guy, ladies, fellas. And Splinter goes back with like, actually, you jest, but you were correct. And then, of course, Raph's like, well, I don't understand. Like, that's not right. Because what I said doesn't make any sense.
Right.
You see. I was taking the piss. And then you say I'm right. Which is the minute that this goes sideways. Yeah. So Splinter goes on to say that animals can only make decisions for their own benefit and survival, but that mankind alone is capable of making decisions that also can be for others' benefit.
Right.
We'll ignore the fact that animals make instinctual decisions based on the welfare of their progeny and not themselves all the time.
Right.
To ensure the survival of like their bloodline and how humans often act in the same interest.
Yeah.
Like, typically it's like why does the mom like Hulk out and like lift the car off her kid? I mean, like I'm sure she loves her kid and that's great, but like that comes from like deep lizard brainstem instinct of like save the progeny. I must continue my bloodline.
Right.
So a lot of animals act in the interest of others. And it doesn't matter because what does that have to do with when does a fly know to fly? When does a fly decide to fly? Like, just walking in on that, in my opinion, like, okay, anyway.
Hold on. No. I like what you're going because, like, I wonder if Carter is actually disappointed in Splinter's wisdom that, like, all this stuff that he's just like, okay, this isn't. So now he's just asking me when's a fly? Like that's all. That's all I'm doing down in the sewers.
No. Carter's along for this crazy ride though, because Carter's about to say some other shit.
That's true.
So Carter busts out with like, oh, wait a minute, yeah, okay, Splinter. So you're asking me to do what's best for everyone, and Splinter's like, yeah, man, you got it. You're a great student. And then Carter goes, I'm a great student. Student, exactly. Student, I'm going back to college. And I'm like, what the?
Yeah, that was out of nowhere.
He's like, I've made up my mind. I'm going back to college. Cure me, dog.
Right.
And I'm like,
yes.
So But the problem is Splinter's been trying to convince Carter through his like cryptic bon mots that he drops at any moment, to explore and tame his mutation, and it's a gift, and you make your mutation special, and all this stuff. And now Splinter's fine with this. Splinter's like, yeah, no, you're good. Do it. And then, how is the decision for Carter to not be a mutant anymore? How is that to the interest of everyone?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Because Carter says earlier that he feels like his mutation can help others. Like
right.
earlier in this show, he's like, well, I feel like I could tame it. It could help people.
Yeah.
And then I'm left with the thought of like, well, then how did we get from when does a fly decide to fly when it sees a fly swatter all the way to I'm going back to college, fix me, dog. And Splinter's like, you're a genius.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I don't get it because like so didn't Carter?
I just don't. Yeah, it
wasn't Carter's whole thing
Eric,
too.
I watched this scene like 4 times.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I watched this sequence 4 times. So I'm like, maybe it's one of those things. You know, sometimes like you swing so high intellectually, like a little bit. You're like, let me get you get all whatever that the old ass Keanu Reeves like confused a meme about it. You're like.
Right.
You get all like that about it because you're trying to look too deep, but then a lot of times like what's going on is actually just like right in front of your face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like obviously like, well, no, like think like a child. Okay, here's how we got there.
Yeah.
I don't see how.
I don't either. I think that wasn't Carter's whole thing about going to college was to learn more about how to reverse the mutations for Leo. Well, the thing is that okay, if that's how it was, that's fine. But the thing is that Donnie just figured out how to cure you. So what makes you think he's not going to be able to cure Leonardo? Like, it stands to reason that just keep going in this direction and it will be fine. But yeah, no, I don't get it either.
I just don't know, when does the fly decide to fly? Like, that statement alone is like off center for the entire situation.
Yeah.
And then the fly swatter was turns things into like, oh, it's a matter of survival.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, it's survival, and then it's like, okay, but then for the mankind alone makes decisions. I guess he's talking about altruism, which doesn't exist.
No.
So I would expect Splinter of all people to understand that altruism doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like, he says that only humans are capable of it, which I guess, I mean, maybe only humans are capable of altruism, but there is no altruistic act. I mean, like, and I'm literally like a mouth breather from Florida. You know what I'm saying? And I know that when it comes to philosophy, so I feel kind of like Splinter should know that. Anyways, we'll dig it more into this later because more crazy stuff happens. So Carter takes the zap.
He does.
And he's declared genetically stable. It happens. Everyone puts on their goggles because they need goggles to protect themselves from the vortex laser. But the guy who's getting shot with the vortex laser does not need eye protection.
Right.
That's how the vortex laser works. That's how it always works in everything ever. You see how that thing's shooting directly into his face?
Into his face. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The turtles need rays. The glasses to shield. Anyway,
makes no sense.
That's just always going to bother me. It's just, and it's not just the turtles that do that. It's like any time that anything happens, this test subject wears nothing, no safety gear, but the other people wear all this stuff. It's crazy. So the turtles are hype. Like, they want to have one last big party with Carter, and he's like, "Nah, fam, hate long goodbyes."
Yeah.
He turns around, bows to Splinter, thanks him for his teaching. So I think that's where we're also supposed to. It's implied that Splinter has taught him something between the scenes, like between episodes.
Yeah.
And then goes to hop on his bike and ride off. You know what I'm saying? Donnie runs out. The whole gang runs out to wish him goodbye. Donnie reminds him that he doesn't have to leave right away. But then your boy Splinter busts in with, "When the eagle is ready to fly, nothing can be gained by remaining in the nest." Which is basically Eagle's Gotta Fly.
Yeah.
Which is basically Splinter endorsing the podcast publicly in the past.
Yep.
Like, we say Eagles Gotta Fly.
Yep.
My dad, I think his like modus operandi, like if you boiled him down to one concept, it's Eagles Gotta Fly. You know what I'm saying? That's where we got it from. That's a Gary Guy original. Eagle's got to fly, and he literally says when the eagle's ready to fly, nothing can be gained by remaining in the nest, which I feel like that should be like if we had a turtle soup crest, that should be like on the banners, like running on top and like below it.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Is that phrase from Splinter? So Eagle's got to fly. It's basically, I mean, the Splinter could have saved himself some syllables. And a little bit of breath
totally could have.
By just looking up and going, my son, Eagle's got to fly. And that'd be it.
That'd be
you
it.
Know what I'm saying? Because y'all, Eagle's got to fly. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, that's all you need to say about it.
That's all you need to say.
That's all there is to it. Also, this also kind of proves that Splinter is doing the thing we talked about last week, where he's basically just like crafting like these wise-sounding little things in response to anything that's going on around him. Like, like to me, that's what proved that.
Okay.
Because it's like when the eagle's ready to fly, nothing can be gained by remaining in the nest, and it's like that doesn't even make sense. Like, well, look, eagle's gotta fly. I get that. Eagle's gotta fly.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's like, well, I don't know, like probably something could be gained by like it's not the case that everything can't be gained by remaining in the nest.
I mean, it's not. It's not.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not applicable to like every situation. But I mean, I guess the sentiment is that he's learned everything he's had to learn here, and so now he's ready to go. But we know that that's probably not true. That he could probably learn a lot more.
That's absolutely not true.
But I guess
the turtles aren't done learning, and they've been learning their whole lives.
Right, but
Splinter
the turtles
still rolls in and teaches them stuff.
Yeah. And if they've been teenagers since '87, then they're probably in their 20s now, so they're no longer teenagers, or they shouldn't be. But
I mean,
but I
one
wonder
thing that might be happening behind the scenes really fast. One thing that might be happening behind the scenes a little bit is that your boy Splinter, I think, just because maybe he doesn't have the authority. I get it. You know what I mean? But I think your boy Splinter, though, right now is on the we grant you entry to this council, but do not grant you the rank of Master Ninja.
Oh, so okay.
I think that's kind of going back to that because I don't think Splinter's not really like given the final seal of approval to anybody. The turtles don't have it, that's for sure. And if
that's
you're Carter, I mean, to get on the other side of it with Carter could look at that and be like, I'm never going to finish learning here, but I have other stuff to go do.
Oh, like, that's a good. That's an interesting point.
I can stay here my whole life and learn from this dude because he's older than me. So like,
okay,
you know what I mean? He's ahead of me in the knowledge race. Like, I'm never going to catch up to Splinter.
Right,
no way
right.
I can.
So like Splinter is like kind of pulling this thing where he's like acting like he's kind of like neutral in this, but supportive but neutral, and in a way to try to get him out because he's trying to kick the bum out, essentially, is what you're saying, but in a very nice way. Okay. I can see that. Another thing is that I can see Splinter. So your dad lives in the sewer. Your dad's a rat. Yeah. He used to be a man. He's also your dad, so he's a little older.
That's really mean shit to say about my dad, but sure.
Oh, sorry, Splinter.
Hey,
I mean Splinter.
What's so special about your dad?
What's so special about your dad? Yeah.
Yeah. What's so special about your dad?
So
your dad lives in the sewer. Okay, well that's a hit. He's a rat.
He's a rat.
He used to be a man. I'm like,
yep, and he's old.
Okay. Keep talking. Yeah. Keep talking shit. Yep. Just keep going.
So, but
that's
like,
great.
but Splinter is like, he doesn't really get to go out very often. So he just indulges in books. So maybe he found a book with all these sayings in it, Ryan, and he's trying to orchestrate situations to where he can use these phrases because it's a game to him. Like he's trying to like get so many things. I could totally see that.
Yeah. If anyone's capable of 5D chess, it's your boy.
Yeah.
You know
all day.
He can run that.
All day.
So moving forward, we cut to the Newspan building. This is a new corporation in our universe. Newspan. And April is showing her footage of Dregg's Chop Shop invasion from last episode to some smarmy dude behind a desk.
Yeah.
So smarmy dude turns around, says, April, that's great. We'll run on the 11 o'clock news. You're a genius. And then he proceeds to shake her hand by grabbing her limp hand off the desk and then vigorously shaking it.
Yeah.
And who even shakes hands like that? If you watch the animation, he's like her hand's just resting on the table. He's like, sounds great. We'll play at 11. And he goes in there and grabs her hand up off the table. Turtletarians, if you can manage to shake someone's hand like that in the next week, I need a battle report.
Okay, yeah, let us
email
know.
me at turtleshoopshow@gmail.com. I need to know how that went.
Yeah.
So I bet you the look on that person's face would go, "What in the hell? Oh, it's a handshake. Wow,
Yeah.
you're weird." That'd be the process.
Yeah.
Like, so my goal is to try to do it at some point this week.
Mhm.
I'm gonna check in with
Okay.
you next week. I don't know, but it's a real aggro move. It's a
It
real
is.
aggro move.
And this whole scene is very, very awkward. This whole thing, like
Yeah,
her in this building,
little awkward.
super weird.
Yeah, a little weird. I do like the fact that April is a reporter without a home. She's a freelance reporter. It's not the old jumpsuit Channel 6. I got my job at Channel 6. He's going to dock my pay. Go, 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 go. It's none of that story again.
Mm-hmm.
They've stuck with it. They destroyed Channel 6 in this continuity, or at least the Channel 6 that we knew of.
Yeah.
So she is working her job, getting it going. She's a freelance reporter.
Oh yeah.
So she rushes off to work on her next story, literally by saying, like, "I'm going to rush off and work on my next story," and which I'm glad he likes. I'm sure he's like, "Oh, sounds good. Why'd you tell me that?
Mm-hmm.
Did I shake her hand weird?
Yeah.
Think
Right.
Charles, did I shake her hand weird? No, boss. No, it's perfectly fine." So she rushes off, gets into an elevator.
Yeah.
She's gonna, working girl. She's gonna go hit the street and do her thing.
9 to 5.
At the nuclear power plant that Mung somehow still occupies with zero problems from the federal government, city officials. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Army. I'm fine.
Yeah.
We're good. Dregg and Mung arrive via the newly completed Vortex Transporter. That happens. And Dregg demands that Mung bring Shredder and Krang over from Dimension X. No, good job. How you doing? Doing this now. So Mung attempts this, but the power required is like way more, apparently, than the power plant has, like, in reserves. So he has to deprive the city of a ridiculous amount of power, billions of watts.
That's what it costs. Yep, it's a lot.
That's the price to pay.
It is.
So paying the gold price to get Shredder and Krang here. You know what I'm saying? So, if you played a drinking game, for every time I said know what I'm saying, you'd just be dead now.
Dude, you know what's weird? That you say that? I think I was talking to my mom this weekend, and I realized I had said know what I'm saying so many times, and I wonder if that's like where we've synced up again, and we're just saying that, and it's a thing. Like, I think when the show, I don't know if it was the show, but I do know whenever I was working in radio, like my first jobs, they were like, you got to stop saying nice. You got to stop saying nice. Like, I just kept saying nice all the time. And so it's very strange how we find ourselves in these like these loops.
Where'd you work? Like AM 6969?
AM 1570, Solid Gospel. I had a morning show called The Glory Train, and it had a whistle.
Well,
and choo choo.
The nice joke, you say 6969. So every time you're like, "Hey, what's up? This is Eric Crosby, the AM 6969." Nice. You ever say nice?
Oh, I see what you're saying now. Yes.
You know what I'm
yes,
saying? The 6969.
The 6969. Yeah, because it's the two numbers, they look alike, but they're upside down. Yeah, I get it. That's the joke,
what
right?
Does that mean? I don't understand. Why do people say nice?
I don't get
cool
nice.
Number.
Right. Yeah, I don't understand. Maybe I don't understand.
Numbers. So what?
You know what I'm saying?
Why can't it be 70? Know what I'm saying?
It's just one more.
It's just one more, and it's an even number. I love
even
numbers. I hate
right.
odd numbers. Those aren't nice to me. Odd numbers suck. That's just true. And if you like odd numbers, then I'm gonna fight you.
Odd numbers suck, especially
bad.
69.
Yes.
Nice.
I mean,
there we go.
It's the only dinner for two.
Oh my goodness.
So we're rolling up. So we got to divert power. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have enough in the nuclear. He already asked for all the plutonium, and like there's just no plutonium there except for the shitty little bits they have in the reactor. He probably at some point realizes, probably in between episodes, he's like, "Wait a minute, so it's uranium. I get it. Okay, it's a mistake." Anyways, I need that power. So in them streets, we realize that April is on an elevator down, and the power is being drained like one thing, one building at a time.
Yeah.
Everyone in the elevator gets scared because the power goes out. Your girl April's got that flashlight though, because that's just like, she's ready to go, and she's like, "Look, it's fine, because like it's just an elevator, man. But like if the power goes out, like we're good. It ain't gonna fall. But don't worry, because it falls.
It does. Immediately.
And in the animation, it is clearly shown to have several completely loose cables just flapping in the breeze.
Yeah.
This will confuse you later. Like it confused me when this gets resolved without April being, smashed to bits.
Right.
So Carter, he's just riding his bike through the city. He's on his way to college, I guess. I don't know what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe back to that sweet diner he was hanging out at.
Could be.
Last episode when he was trying to figure out Leo. He's like, I gotta go back to that diner, man. They got some steak and eggs. I gotta go get that before I go to college. He's riding his bike through the city and he sees all the power getting turned off, and he's like, really like, what? I don't understand. Right next to him, he witnesses a city bus and what I assume is a trolley of some sort. Does New York have trolleys? You've been to New York. I haven't. Does New York have trolleys like San Francisco does?
Not that I
don't know of that.
Not that I saw, at least I don't think. I know that I think Boston has some similar things that aren't necessarily trolleys, but they're more subway cars that go above and below ground. But like
elevated trains. I know about like L's and I know about subways. But a trolley, as depicted in this animated series, is very specific.
Yeah, we have them in Ybor City, but like that's about the closest thing that I can think of that where I've been that they've had them. But yeah, it's still very strange because it also looks like that they're out in the like away from the city a little bit, or at least like it gets that far eventually. And so I'm like, well, how?
Yeah, well, I mean,
yeah, how does that happen? So yeah, I have a lot of questions.
So either way though, there's a massive collision from the event. You know what I'm saying? This sends the trolley careening off just out of the city, just on a way out. And Carter hops onto it to save the day. But we don't know how yet. So back in the lair, the turtles are like, who turned out the lights? Because it's all dark. Donnie finds the flashlight. And turns out power's out throughout the whole city. They figure this out pretty quickly. Then Leo's like, well, good thing because we're standing in a bunch of water. And they realize you're like knee deep in water. And Donnie's like, oh yeah, that's because the city's wastewater pumps aren't working. So that's not good.
That's not good at all.
And it's causing the sewer to flood. So the Turtles and Splinter are like, ooh, I read that writing on the wall. That means I need to GTFO. And they try to get out, but turns out, guess what? They get flushed away.
They do.
Too much water. It just happens.
It happens.
Back at the power plant, Shredder and Krang materialized instantly. And it's awesome.
Yep.
And I never thought, honestly, I would ever be happy to see them again.
Right.
But here we are.
Here we are. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this. Like it's been a nice reprieve.
And they don't disappoint.
Yeah, not at all.
We're glad to see him again.
Well,
and we have a lot to talk about.
We do. They
about when they come back.
I think they disappoint in one very particular way, but we'll talk about it.
There's a way that you and I have discussed before the show that they do disappoint.
Yes,
but we'll get there where it goes. You know what I'm saying? It's like, they can't all be California girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we're good. So but they materialize, but then like it's weird because you're like, oh dude, but didn't they do this whole other sequence? Like, then you have to wait, and then you get to see Shredder and Krang actually do stuff. So it's really weird.
It's very strange.
Back in them streets, the transportation complete. The power that does belong to these buildings gets sent right back to the buildings. And the elevator arrives safely at the ground floor.
Yeah.
Broken cables aren't a problem anymore.
Nope.
We're good. And April's fine. She gets out. She's like, oh man. Like that sucked. But anyway.
It's so weird. Like, why did they even have to mention that it wasn't going to fall and then it falls, but then they don't even, like, being stuck in an elevator, regardless of if it falls or not, is still terrifying. And so
exactly.
If they were wanting,
literally my worst fear, probably. One of my worst fears is being stuck in an elevator.
If they wanted to give a reason for these people to rush out when the elevator, like they didn't need to, they just have it be stuck for a minute, and that's reason enough. But I guess they needed to make it to where these people would run out of the elevator for some reason. But yeah, that makes no sense.
Either way, it's a little action, I guess, but it's fine because the cables aren't torn. They don't. She's fine. So Carter on board the runaway trolley.
Yeah.
I had to go ahead. I made a call to New York, and I had to check and make sure that just to make sure that this wasn't a runaway train situation.
Okay.
Trolley cars resemble trains in a lot of ways. They have seats oriented in a way that a train is. It's shaped like a train car.
Yeah.
So calling up to the regional authority, they told me that a trolley is is different than a train, mainly because it is electrically powered and does not contain any more contiguous cars. It also does not have an engine, car or an engine that pulls or pushes the trolley. It is self motivated.
Okay.
So I can tell you, it was kind of a close call. I really had to double check. This is not a runaway train situation.
Okay.
I just want to let you guys know that, because you might be like, okay, so like, where's Soul Asylum then? Where are the missing and exploited kids?
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, is Carter the stranger on the train? Because when you start the train thing up, you got to start asking yourself, stranger on a train, girl on a train,
yeah,
runaway
it just goes
train,
back. Yeah.
ninjas on a train. I mean, it all unrolls.
It all unrolls.
And I'm just gonna let you just need to go spool that in.
Mm-hmm.
This is not runaway train. They're not going to use they're not going to use your little body in Hollywood. It's fine.
No.
It's just a trolley.
It's just a trolley.
Runaway trolley, guys. Okay, so that being said, it's still dangerous.
It is.
So basically, it's heading toward a raging river right outside New York. Because it literally looks like the Colorado Rapids over there.
It does.
And it's fine, because Carter grabs a metal bar from the roof, snaps that off like he's mutated, but he's not, guys.
But he's not.
Don't forget, he's cured. You know what I'm saying? He's been cured all right. So he jams the metal pole in the wheels. That stops it.
Yeah.
Now
that would rip your arm off.
Hands down.
Yeah.
No. And I'm a little angry at this way this resolved, because like, he literally just got cured of mutation. Yes. Like, he's literally only as strong as a human.
Right.
So he probably, and once again, it's writing. It is what it is. Probably should have found a better way to divert it that required like his mind and not ultimately a physical solution.
Yeah, that's true.
Jamming the piece of metal in the wheels is an intelligent fix to it. Right. But when the guy reaches up and like snaps off like a 2-inch thick like steel or aluminum beam from the top of this roof.
Right.
And then jams it down in there with sufficient force to jam the wheel.
Unharmed.
While it's moving.
It's moving. Yeah.
That's not normal strength.
No.
Now the Turtles, it's funny. We don't see normal people doing things in this show often.
Right.
Because most of the characters aren't average humans. April's an average human.
Yeah.
But the Turtles are mutated. So they have strength to do stuff that we don't have, because they're unique biological beings.
They do.
Splinter is also a unique biological being who can have the strength to do things that we don't understand.
Right.
Shredder's a normal human. He's just a person.
He is just a person.
It's not for him to determine.
That's true.
But he also is like a specimen.
Yes.
Like a specimen of like a prototypical, like the highest evolution of humanity.
Yeah.
I buy that, because he's been training his entire life. Like, I mean, hard training. Right. Like, to do things. Carter comes in as like the rough street kid.
Yes.
So while I'm not saying that Carter doesn't have the potential to do this kind of thing, and he's definitely got the smarts to think about, like, in the moment, yeah, I'll do this. In a storyline where the whole idea is that he can't turn into Savage Dragon Big Bird to physically stop the problem, he has to use his head. This is kind of a brute force way to stop a runaway trolley.
It is. And like, to your point though, the Turtles and most people in this show, they have the ability that are generally like, well, no, even mutants, that like the Turtles especially, we don't see them do things like this. We don't really see them rip things off the wall. Like that doesn't happen very often. They mostly just exhibit like a little bit of like maybe agility and strength, but like nothing like watch me rip this piece of metal out. Like that's not like a focal point for it, which is strange considering that now that like, to your point, that he's a human now, that I guess you could make the argument that they're like having his body having gone through the transformation so much that it's somehow being that his body is still the same as Savage Dragon Big Bird, that there might be something there, but that's a stretch. So yeah, I agree with you though. Like that was a little strange to make that happen.
Yeah, if he would have like used his brain, like that like him and Donnie T hanging out, like building hyper realistic simulators in 1996 kind of brain.
Yeah.
Then he could like, I feel like that would have been a good fix. And maybe if it got really hairy, maybe the trolley rolls over. Maybe it like it goes spinning, and then like he's got to like physically as a human help people out of it.
Right.
And it's hard, and he barely gets it done. And he's like, oh my God, like Savage Dragon Big Bird would have just stepped outside and just stopped this thing.
Right.
But now I got like people potentially injured. I've got like the whole thing just went up in flames. Like I had to pull like this lady out, and like I barely made it with my own life.
Right.
That's the kind of thing I'd like to see out of like, damn, I just got proven to me like 2 minutes after I got cured how Savage Dragon Big Bird might have been a blessing, not a curse.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Take a drink.
Yeah.
So,
I think that I would. The only thing that would have redeemed this is if he would have asked himself, well, when does the fly stop the train? The trolley. When does the fly stop the trolley? If he would have asked that, that would have made perfect sense. I would have totally redeemed this, but he doesn't.
And then like Splinter appears in the moon like he did in the OVA cartoon, and then he goes like, runaway train never coming back.
Right.
Runaway train on a one-way track. And like Carter looks up, he's like, Ryan said this is a trolley and it's not a train.
Yeah, like, why are we talking about trains still?
Why are you singing that? And then like everyone starts singing it, and Carter's like, awesome. Now I'm insane. Oh wow, no, that cure sucks. I'm not. Yeah. No, Jesus, no, I'm not down for that.
Yep, nope.
Well, it's okay. Carter's showing some results. Carter's showing some Splinter appearing in a moon and singing "Runaway Train."
It's great.
I need to see that.
We need some fan art of that.
Yes. So, okay. So then Carter's a little mixed up. Because Carter just starts dropping too much knowledge on too many people all at once. So Carter gets out, and he's like, all right, well, I did that. Damn. And the trolley driver rolls up, and he's like, hey, man, like, thanks for saving our lives, dude. And Carter's like, barely did it.
Right.
And I'm like, what the hell was that? Like, barely. I'm like, okay. You stopped the trolley without it flipping, and everyone's okay. I feel
no
like
casualties.
You saved it. Like you just saved the people. But then Carter's like I gotta find a way to like do this impression. So the guy goes, hey, thanks, kid, you saved our lives. And Carter's like, barely. I wonder if my mutation was more of a blessing than a curse. He doesn't wait for the guy to walk away. Like, no. The trolley is 100% earshot. The trolley is just the trolley driver is just turning around. He's like, all right, yeah. So, and then like, he's like, well, I wonder, like, as loud as he can, he's like, I wonder if my mutation was more of a blessing than a curse.
Yeah.
Well, Carter, got to deal with it. And this guy's got to be like, that kid just talked about like, so the kid that saves us like crazy though.
Well,
like,
yeah. I like the idea that
let me go. Yeah. Let me go help this lady out of the trolley.
I like the idea that his hand is still on Carter's shoulder as he's saying that, but he's halfway turned around. Yes. So it's awkward. It's like, do I take my hand off, or do I what do I? My God, that's beautiful. I love it. Carter's so weird.
It's really awkward. And then Carter just talks. Carter's like, yeah. So anyway, I mean, that literally be like if like I saved your life and you were like, oh dude, oh my God, thanks for saving my life. I'm like, yeah, barely. Anyway, so should I have murdered my wife, like, or should I have like tried something else? Like, I mean, it's literally like what you're like. That's what you're doing. Like,
might as well be.
Turn around. It's like it's like I wonder how long it'll take for the poison to reach the water supply.
Right.
Like as someone turns around, like it's like the craziest thing you could possibly say. This guy's gonna be like mutant, especially because Dregg's been running that anti-mutant propaganda.
Right. Yeah.
So now he hears mutation. He's probably like, can I call the authorities? You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway. So Carter basically ends it with like, well, I mean, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm out, heading out. So back in the sewer, the Turtles and Splinter are being washed away down the sewer. Mikey thinks he finds a surfboard, but guess what?
Guess what?
It's an alligator.
It's an alligator.
Hey,
I love
here
this
all the time. Here all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I'll fall in like a retention pond. That's what we do in Florida. Like
Ooh.
we'll just be like, I want to walk to 7-Eleven, and you fall into a retention pond.
Yeah.
That just happens. So what happens is oftentimes you see something green floating, and you're like, well, I mean, turns out like at least 64% of surfboards are green. You didn't
That's
know
true.
that, but we
Turns
know
out.
that. And you're like, all right, so like that's a surfboard, and then it's like that's a gator.
It's a gator.
And you have two choices. Do you go for your cred points by just trying to surf on the gator anyway? Because sometimes you can pull that off.
You can.
Or do you yip up and run? And Mikey chooses to yip up and run. I don't blame him. He's a
no. Either way is
saying?
valid.
He's from New York. Like he doesn't know how to deal with that.
Right? Yeah.
He's not Florida man.
He's
he
not
can't
Florida
run
man.
An alligator.
No.
It's fine.
Exactly.
So he's like, yeah, nah, opt out. I'm a Yankee dude. I don't know nothing about these alligators. And he opts out. So the Turtles and Splinter wind up getting washed down a whirlpool. And I love these moments because right before commercial break, you see it's going to happen. You know it's commercial break. You know what I'm saying? And they're getting rolled down the whirlpool.
Mm-hmm.
And Leo just shouts, Sensei. And that would have been the last words he ever said.
Yeah.
That's me and you at that four-way stop situation.
It's better than my last words.
Yeah. Like if your last words were in a comic, it would have been like, in the Mirage, like whenever someone's like, and they have the little pop.
Yeah.
Like, remember it looks like the Walmart logo?
Yeah.
Remember that? That's basically what you did. You did a real life.
Yeah.
In real life at that four-way stop when we almost died. That's the last words Leo could have probably said.
Could have been, but no. Sensei. That was it. That's cute. It is, and it's cute. It's him seeking after his father.
Last thoughts.
Yeah.
His last thoughts. And those are my last thoughts hosting this review.
Well, there you go. Well, so after they went down the drainage pipe, which I feel like that's a thing we've seen quite a bit. This should be nothing. They should have a contingency plan for this. Like this should be they're in the sewers anyway. They should have. I guess you could argue that they become complacent, that like they feel like they don't need to. But I don't know. I feel like I would have like something in mind to like make sure that I'm insulated from that kind of situation. But
yeah, we're also living honestly in kind of like a mixed exposure type situation, right? Because like the turtles themselves are being waterborne creatures, amphibians. They can handle themselves. But unfortunately, like a rat is like infamously not prepared to deal with water. I mean, there's like rats from a sinking ship. There's all these sayings that basically say rats like, they'll like kill you to get on that board. Like, there's all kind of stories about that, right?
Oh yeah.
So like that's an unfortunate place. I always imagine like trying to save Splinter from a flooding sewer would be a lot like when they tell you about trying to save someone from like drowning. Yeah. Like you need to watch out because like they're flailing and they'll pull you down with them. Kind of thing. I feel like Splinter's probably like that.
Right. Oh, definitely.
Like, instinctually, can't help it. Like, so they're really they're kind of living with a very vulnerable person that's very vulnerable to the flooding. So you think that they even for that reason alone they would have a contingency plan for the flooding, right? Because like Splinter's in no shape being an older person and being a rat who I mean, rats on a sinking ship. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I feel like it. Yeah, I'm a little surprised.
Yeah, that's definitely against team. They might also have that thing where Splinter has shown, we saw Air Splinter a while back, where he did that that 45-degree jump, and or was it 90-degree?
Oh yeah.
Whatever. He did that weird jump, and so he's shown signs of being like still agile and still doing some stuff. But I mean, sometimes you can have that kind of agility out of nowhere, and then still be like with a hurt back or whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. It's strange. But what else is strange, Ryan, is that I never thought, again, that we'd see Shredder and Krang, but they are here now, like fully on.
They are here now.
They are back, like in the flesh, and the not the doughy android flesh, but the walker flesh and the Shredder flesh, if you will. And I, like we said a little bit ago, like I've never thought I'd be excited to see these two in this cartoon.
Oh yeah.
Again, I was so sick of them whenever they left, and it was like hallelujah, And now that we've had Dregg for a little
Good
while,
riddance to bad garbage.
Precisely.
It's literally what he said.
I literally said that. And yeah, but now here they are, and I'm really geeked out about it. But
yeah,
let's set the stage. So we're back at Dregg's transport base, and him and Mung have successfully transported Shredder and Krang from Dimension X. Now, William E. Martin returns to voice the Shredder, Ryan, and this is not the first time we've heard his voice of the Shredder, but it took me by surprise.
In season 8. Yep.
Yeah, once I read, I had to go back and read because it sounds so foreign to me. Now, granted, we are familiar with the James Avery version of Shredder, like that is like
James Avery,
hands down.
James Avery is Bay.
Yeah,
and I remember clearly noticing a little bit of a difference in season 8. A little different,
yeah.
Right? No James Avery, but that Martin did a pretty good job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't Avery, but whatever.
Yeah.
This Shredder sounds like Dregg. It sounds like he forgot how to do the Shredder accent.
Right.
And he's like, what if I just sounded like an alien man? He sounds kind of like, what are you doing here? Like that's kind of like, do you know what I'm saying? That's the sound he has. It's really like garbled and kind of low and like guttural and like cracks sometimes. And there's a lot of like fluid in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now,
like the alien, like that kind of thing to it. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Right. Well, now here's the thing. So he's been in Dimension X, which is when he's not from there, and he's a human. Now, granted, the neutrino, I think, the neutrino, Hot Rod and teenagers from Dimension X, so they have familiarity with that, but they were not necessarily human.
They're also not human.
Right.
They are certainly not human.
Right. So Shredder. I just realized that he has his arms crossed in this picture, and that's got to be something that you instinctively do, but he hurts himself all the time doing that because of his gauntlets. Well, like, how does that work?
I mean, that's called, it works like self-flagellation.
Right.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. So, but I wonder if like Dimension X could have like affected his vocal cords. Like the air there might be a little different. Like we can live there.
I am 100 in for that.
Right.
If it still sounded like Shredder, but his voice was messed up. Also, if you added coughing.
Right. That would have been cool. Yeah.
Messed up. That would have been badass.
Right. But
no,
unfortunately,
it's just kind of a bad voice. It feels like you're trying to do a different take on Shredder. He also, the writing, his dialogue doesn't sound like Shredder at all. Like just his choice of words and what he says in what moments.
Yeah.
Just doesn't sound like Shredder.
It doesn't. There's a lot of stuff that seems different than how we're used to seeing Shredder. But then again, he's been in a different place.
Him and Krang have a punk rock ass attitude.
Oh, yeah.
And that kind of makes up for some of that with me.
It totally does. I'm right there with you. Yeah. So, also, Pat Farley, or Fraley, excuse me, returns to voice Krang, and he does a fantastic job. Like,
Krang's
the
right
best
back from the old days.
Yeah, this is the best Krang I think that we've got in a while. Like, as far as the animated series. So I am like super all about this. Well, in classic form, Dregg introduces himself to Shredder and Krang, and he says that he needs their help. And he calls himself a conqueror of worlds, ruler of men. And Krang astutely inquires why their assistance is needed if he's such an accomplished conqueror, which is like fantastic. I love the saltiness of it.
Bring me this Krang all the time.
Yeah.
Bring me this pithy, like bratty Krang. I like my favorite Krang is when he's bratty like this.
Oh yeah,
and you see like because it's an aspect of the character, right?
Oh,
like,
definitely.
It's there in the character, and they really did it in the OVA. Remember the OVA we reviewed? The animated. I mean, he was bratty as hell. It was awesome.
He was great. Yeah, and
here,
definitely.
His first words are like, "So if you're such a great conqueror, what do you need our help for?"
Yeah.
I love that.
I do too. Like that's his first words back on Earth.
Yeah,
and, yeah.
He's been literally plucked out of Dimension X by methods unknown and dropped in a place that he does not know. He doesn't know this is Earth. This is just like a place with a dude. And he's like, if you're so great, what do you need with me, man?
And I'm surprised.
That's punk rock as hell. Like,
it is
amazing.
It is. I'm surprised that he isn't familiar with Dregg, actually, which is interesting because you would think that Krang tends to have like
he's a warlord,
a vast knowledge of different warlords and different like conquerors and stuff like that. But I definitely love what they're doing.
Well, I do want to. I'm sorry. I do want to interject one thing. I don't want to make this thing go on forever. But one thing I do want to interject though is that if you think about it, Dregg is shown as when he first arrives in season 8, he's shown as returning from. Season 9. He's shown as returning from a battle on the far flung edges of this galaxy.
That's true.
He's on the way home.
That's right.
And whatever.
Yeah.
In my head canon, or I think it's pretty not necessarily my head canon, but I think it's easy to maybe think that Dregg has been fighting, has basically came up to prominence on the edge of the galaxy.
Okay.
And has come back in, and so he's kind of like maybe new to the game. Like,
that's fair.
He has become a conqueror of worlds and ruler of men way out there, but he's not come in this far. And like, so Krang doesn't know about this guy. This guy got like Battlefield promoted out there to be in that situation.
I like that. I like that. It seems like a lot's, is like, a lot's gone on since Krang and Shredder have been in Dimension X. And Dregg actually like doubles down on that by telling them that, the turtles have hypermutated. So that's why you don't know that I need your help, because that's a thing that's changed since you've been gone. And Dregg is trying to like broker this deal with them and like trying to get them to partner up. And Shredder naturally asks, what consequence is there if we decline? Like what if we say no? And this is something like I love animated choices and things that they choose to animate and what they choose not to and what they choose to say and all that stuff. So Krang and Shredder ask, what are the consequences if we refuse? Mung's red Batman then flick a switch on their guns, and it's just a close-up of this click on the gun. And it, like, I guess that apparently switches from goo to laser. And this makes and this is where Shredder's just like, okay, all right. But it makes me wonder, like, so Shredder and Krang, they're like, okay, we don't have any choice. Like, we're gonna have to do something, and they decide to start kicking ass, which is fantastic. I don't know. I love seeing them actually do action scenes that aren't just like run and gun kind of stuff. And they put like Shredder, like right here, he's like drop kicking Dregg. I love it. And but it makes me wonder though, if they hadn't switched from goo or from laser, from goo to laser, if that would have made them stay. You know what I'm saying? Like they might have been okay with the goo. I don't know. Have a lot of questions about that.
I don't know, man. I think that Shredder and Krang were like way too punk rock for this whole thing.
Absolutely. So you think that their decision was made long before they saw the gun switch to the different ammo? Okay, that's fair.
I think the minute they're like, "Who's this Joker?" He's like, "Conqueror of worlds." Like, we're not playing with this guy. This guy sucks.
So, okay. Well, one way or the other, they end up they let us know vocally like that they're not having this. And physically as well. And so they start fighting. They start shooting Krang, and I just died laughing at this. Krang gets shot in the head, and he it's like, and he's in his dome. He's in his dome walker thing, and he says, "Laser-proof plastic, loser," and he's like pointing at it. Oh my goodness, I love that so much. Like
it's so that's amazing.
Like him calling people a loser and just being so braggadocious about this stuff, just cracking me up. So then Ryan, something happened that we're gonna have to talk about a little bit as we go through a little bit more. Because Shredder does something. Now, I don't recall him doing this previously that much. I know he's done it, but I don't know if it's just like at the day and age that we're in that I'm like aware of this. But Shredder ends up getting Mung from behind, and he's grabbing him. Now, if this was the only instance of this in this episode, I wouldn't have thought anything of it. But we see more of this later. However, like this just seems very weird and inappropriate and unnecessary for a man.
Yeah, boy's a little grabby.
He's a little grabby. Now, I guess I could try to like, new drink this by saying that because he has the blades on his hands and arms, that like getting in close proximity with somebody might make them think twice before like struggling to get away, as opposed to I just have a gun on your back. That could be an argument to be made, but like I think Shredder might have been a little lonely because Krang has just been in that body and he's not been like in a humanoid body. So I don't know. Just putting that out there. So, and again, in more of their punk rockness, Shredder and Krang are like backing out, and they're like, "Nice to meet you, Dregg, Conqueror, in your dreams," and they end up running away. They like throw Mung down, and like they take off. So back in the sewers, in the flooded sewers, the turtles make their way down a drainage pipe, a bunch of waterfalls. It's just like a whole scene of them just falling.
Yeah,
and eventually they exit the sewer. And the sewer system to the outside world, and it's still red skies, so everything looks very strange outside. And they start talking and making jokes and figuring out where they're at, and then they realize that they're along the coast or the beach or whatever, and they're like, well, oh snap, we got to find Splinter. Like we gotta go find Splinter. And of course, yeah, that's what they gotta do. It's strange that they all didn't go out the same like thing. Like that's kind of odd. Yeah. But or at least like from what we could see, but nevertheless, we get back to them streets, Ryan. Back on them streets, our boys Shredder and Krang, and they are like hot footing it just through the alleys and whatnot, and they're talking about how like, oh, this is exciting, that Dregg gave us another chance. Like we can actually like stop the turtles and do what we want to do. Like this is fantastic, and they're like kind of overjoyed in a way by this new like lease on their attempted world domination. And and then but like they have to deal with Dregg first. Like that's the thing. They want to destroy the turtles, but they got to deal with Dregg first. And they're talking about this, and it just so happens that Mung is flying around in some other ship that he's like blasting at them, and just like just laying all this fire down. Yeah, he just started blasting. And so they're like running, ducking, and covering and all this stuff. And he chases them down a street, and people are freaking out. Shredder, he then like specifically like pulls out his gun, and it's super tiny at this point. It looks like a little bit bigger than a handgun. And he blasts this satellite off a like building. I don't think it showed what happened or why, but he just did it. And there's that. So at this point, we see April O'Neil. After all that, we're in traffic. April's in her hot red sports car, and she's just like she's trying to figure out this is before. Well, the internet's around, but not everyone has like cell phones. Although she has a Turtlecom. So and
GPS wasn't gonna be around for a hot minute, so she's got no reason to know why that's happening.
Right, like the best chance would be the radio, I guess, but so she's there in traffic, and she's trying to just figure out like what's going on. Then Ryan, out of all the cars in this scene, our friends Shredder and Krang find April O'Neil's car. Now, this is not a car that she had previously, or well, they might have seen it before they left for Dimension X, because I think she's had it since the Red Skies.
Your girl's level of flexing has gone up to the point where she's driving the baddest looking car on the street right now.
She did, yeah. And
they're trying to evade a dude in a spaceship shooting stuff. I think they went for the sportiest looking car.
That's a fair assessment. Okay, that's cool. And you said it's the
cars in that frame.
That's true.
Those are some jobber ass cars. Like that's nothing. There's a truck, old beat up K car, a damn Jeep, like, and then you got this like badass like Supra looking thing. Yeah,
right.
I'm getting that.
Right, and so yeah, like I hadn't thought of it that way, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, that's probably why they did pick it. But the more I look at this picture, this is a 2-door, not a 4-door.
It is a 2-door.
And this, but we'll get to that in a second. So yeah, so they end up picking up, like, they run to her car. And this is the cutest thing I've ever seen. So Shredder opens the door for Krang and lets Krang get in on the passenger side
like a gentleman.
Like a gentleman. And he runs around the back and gets in on the driver's side. However, like we just mentioned,
I love it.
Yeah, I love that. Like that is art. Or that was like art animation. That happened.
That shows you that between Shredder and Krang, the thrill ain't gone.
The thrilling.
That home fire is burning.
It is, and I love that. Like, that's not us spinning this. That's not like a director's cut. Like, no, that's like dead ass what happens.
Like, you watch it yourself.
And so they jump in, and April's just like, Shredder and Krang. And so yeah, she Shredder tells her to get driving. He's like, just no, nice to see you or whatever. He's just like, no, just start driving. And April says that I've retired from the stop the supervillain from conquering the world business, so I'm not gonna. And then at that point, we have Mung come through and blast the tiniest hole in her window, and to which Shredder starts blasting out of. But then April decides to take off and gets out of the traffic jam and makes her way to a less traffic jammed area of New York. And so yeah, but anyway, that's just, yeah, that little hole is just cracking me up too. But at this point, April grabs the turtle comm and she's like, okay, I'll call the guys. And we've been saying this, if you're just now joining us, April has been reluctant to be a part of the Turtles' lives for like most of this season, if not like all of the Red Skies. Like, it's been making that way.
She's changing her brand.
She is.
You know what I mean? That's all there is to it.
And so so she grabs the turtle comm. Then we cut back to the beach, or the wherever the outlet of all this waterfalls, sewage lines, whatever. And the turtles are still looking for Splinter. And Leo's yelling in a pipe, and a rat comes out and it scares the shit out of him. But eventually, they find Splinter right next to the pipe that they're yelling into, and he's just sitting there, Ryan. He's just sitting on a rock. So now he probably...
He's like, got him. I'm alive.
Yep. That's exactly what he did. And so...
Surprise.
Yeah. So he's just sitting there, legs crossed, and just meditating and just chilling. Like, no need to worry. He was fine the whole time. And, yeah, so at this point, the turtles are, like, hearing voices. And it turns out it's April whispering while driving away from a spaceship that's shooting at her with two supervillains and one of them is an actual extraterrestrial in the car, and she's driving and she's whispering on the turtle comm that is looking kind of sort of at her face that she's trying to get the guy's attention. Well, they eventually realize it's the comm, and she's like, hey, we're in trouble. And Shredder's actually like, yeah, no, you're in a great deal of trouble. And as he grabs the turtle comm and is like speaking to the turtles. I loved that so much. And it's so tiny in his hand right here, though, which is a little weird. But yeah, he is. He's telling him that I've got April. We're driving around. Like, she's in a lot of trouble. Bye, guys. And just hangs up on the turtles. And the turtles are like, oh, snap, we got to go save April. So, like, we got to go. So Splinter's like, yeah, just go ahead and go. So they run up to the streets, and they're like, we got to find a way to get to her. And they don't have the turtle van near them or whatever. No. So they decide to whistle for a cab. And I think this is the first time that we've seen a Ninja Turtle whistle, if I'm not mistaken, Ryan. At least this way. If you know of another way that we've seen the turtles whistle, let us know, turtlesoupshow@gmail.com or in the comments below or whatever. But yeah, I think this is the first time we've seen this happen. And so a cab pulls up, and it's this blonde cab driver, and he is like not wanting to get these dudes in the car. He's not wanting to let them in, but they insist. They get in, and they take off. Well, at this point, Dregg is like they catch up with April and not Dregg, Mung, and so they're following, but then Mung is blasting. He's still blasting. He never stopped. And this dude starts changing the charge on the on the fare. That's the word. Thank you. On the cab, and they're like, "What's this about?" And he's like, "There's a surcharge for ambulance services, especially when it's for me." And yeah, that
$200.
Yep. And so, it went up to 400. Is that what it was, or 200?
No. It's 200 to start with.
200 to start with. Okay. And then,
yeah, for the ambulance service.
Right. So goodness. And then Shredder, I can't get over this, Ryan. This whole Shredder shooting out a window at Mung and stuff. It's just cracking me up. But anyway, along the way, they're driving around. April's freaking out. Everyone's freaking out. They're all driving. And April, Shredder, and Krang are still in the red car, and they're going. Mung is ahead. Turtle's in the cab. The turtles catch up to him, like I said. And Shredder starts shooting the hood off the cab of the car. He moves it from Mung, and he starts going towards the turtles. And the cab driver ups the charge again to $1,000. Then Leo and Raph jump out of the cab and onto the hood of April's car. And here it still looks like it's just a two-door car. So I don't know if it should be big enough for them to have two full Ninja Turtles on there, but who knows. So Shredder continues to try and blast them from inside the car. But Leo cuts his his blaster in half and says, I'm canceling your blaster permit. At this point, Raph falls off, but he's caught by Mikey and Don in the cab. But he falls off because Shredder uses his gauntlet to cut through the roof of April's car, which is amazing. Well, it shouldn't be amazing, but it is because we very rarely, we probably see it a lot more than I think, but it's still notable, at least to me, seeing him use that, use one of his main weapons.
Shredder was trying to play Cobra Commander for a lot of this show.
Yeah.
And not do the dirty work himself. You know
what
I'm saying? So it's nice to see him out in the field using that. It's badass.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's a perfect way of saying it. And so, so Raph gets spooked by that, and he's like, "Oh snap, that's gonna hurt." So I'm gonna jump off the roof of this car. The Don and Mike catch him, and then that's still going on. We cut back to Dregg's ship, and Dregg is talking to Mung, who is giving him coordinates for where the turtles are and what's going on. And so while Dregg's doing this, he's getting everything set up for the transporter. Fighting's still happening, and one of the coolest fight scenes that I think we've seen in Turtles history is Shredder and Leonardo fighting on the hood of this car, or the roof of this car.
The roof. Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. And so the animation shows us that they're about to head toward a blockade, there's some road work happening. And thankfully, they get transported right before it hits, right before they fall off the edge. So, Ryan, we end up in Dregg's. See, it's weird because it showed the ship, but I think that might have been Mung's ship that we showed just a second ago. Dregg,
it's at the plant where the vortex transporter is.
The vortex transporter is at the plant. So, because I wasn't too sure what ship Dregg was flying, Mung was flying. It was a little confusing. However, nevertheless, now that Dregg has the coordinates, he uses the vortex transporter to transport the turtles, April, Shredder, Krang, and their vehicles and the cab driver to where he's at. And somehow, when we last saw Shredder, he was on the roof fighting with Leonardo of April's car. And now, Ryan, he is in the passenger seat, fully buckled up.
Buckled in.
With Krang in the back.
No, I mean, click it or ticket.
Click it or ticket. This was what? Where did he... First of all, why? Why would he do this? When did he have time? Somehow, the time it took...
I love how huge Shredder is in this shot, and I love absolutely how he looks like a high school kid who does not want to get driven to school.
Oh, he totally does.
I just love everything about this domestic image of Shredder, Krang, and April all buckled into April's car. It's the funniest actual just cutback. That might be why they honestly put him back in there, because that's hilarious.
Oh, I like to think that.
Error.
Yeah.
But I think it's genius.
I think it is
give
too.
Us this screenshot is what they were trying to do from the past.
Exactly. Yeah. This is like they did this for us. I think the animators did, because this is just too funny. Seeing supervillains doing like very civilized domesticated things is always
your average domestic stuff is really funny.
Then the turtles declare that one thing you can always count on besides them is that they're going to resist. And so fighting starts to happen. And I gotta say real quick, the animation in this episode alone has been like leaps and bounds better than some of the stuff we've been seeing. And I don't know fully what it is, but like, some of this stuff just, I mean, I say that, but then looking at Leonardo's feet in this shot is a little weird. But
no. I mean, no, you're talking about the animation though.
Right.
Like, I mean, sometimes certain still frames can look weird, but like it's smooth and fluid, and there's a lot of little stuff going on. There's a lot of detail in this fight scene, which is cool.
Yeah, and I think that though a lot more of the budget went to the animation, because in this fight scene there's a lot of lasers that happen that are like better they're heard and not seen. And like we have April who grabs a gun and she starts blasting and she ends up hitting her car, and that's a whole thing. And then the cab driver gets spooked eventually, and then he takes off. Like, he just leaves. Like, I think the car's still there, but he leaves. And
with all the damages, he racks the final fare up to, I think it's like 13,500.
Yeah,
and he's like, no fare's worth all this, and he hauls butt. And I'm like, the other good reason to haul ass is honestly like, the turtles ain't gonna pay you $13,500. Like, that's not gonna happen.
They're not. They don't have that. Yeah, you might as well.
They're still paying off their weapons. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, what are you
exactly? Yeah. And April still got her Sony bill to pay, so like, there's a lot of debt here. Well, so Shredder then does again the grappling thing.
Yeah, he gets handsy one more time out here.
He gets handsy with Michelangelo. Game's over, you repugnant reptile, is what he says. And it's see, here Michelangelo's gripping his gauntlets and stuff like that, so he's obviously getting cut up. That has to be why he's doing this, but it still seems very strange to me. And he's like just having this person close to him. It's like he wants like some like warmth. Well, are the turtles cold-blooded? They have to be, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know turtles are.
We discussed how they actually can't be. Because there's so many situations where they've been in like really cold environments and they would just have like torpor and die.
Right.
So like, no.
Okay.
Like, they're not cold-blooded.
Okay, so because Shredder's a competent,
they simply can't be.
He's probably an incompetent villain at times, but as far as like a person, he's very competent. Like, he's smart, intelligent. He can deduce some things. And so
what I want to
I was just going to say, he knows that like the turtles are probably warm, or maybe it doesn't even have anything to do with warmth. Maybe it's just this thing that this is his, like, he just wants a body, especially the turtles, because he's like, I don't know, not fetishize them, but like kind of like where you fall in love, like almost like Stockholm syndrome a little bit. That maybe he's like,
wow,
fantasized about defeating the turtles so much that it's like become this thing that he needs them close. Like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, the other explanation, besides some kind of weird like desire to hold a turtle or Mung, or just hold an alien for a little while just to feel nice and safe and comfy, is that the main difference between the theater of battle that Shredder previously fought in and the theater of battle he finds himself in now is there are a ton more blasters. There's a ton more Batmen shooting guns everywhere.
Okay.
And I think he's looking for body armor.
Oh, that's a good point.
He's looking for some of that sweet body armor, and I think that's why he got behind Mung like that. Because he sees a lot of blasting. That's why he got behind Mikey like that.
That's true.
He's just like,
okay, that's a good point.
A little bit. There's a lot of goo, a lot of lasers flying everywhere, and I ain't going down alone.
Yeah, that's true. That is a very good point. I do like that. So, okay, so all right. So, well, while Shredder has Mikey using him as body armor essentially, and like threatening that he's going to end him as well. The turtles come up and say to let him go, and like they Krang comes up behind them and says, no, drop your weapons, and the turtles do, but like all of their weapons roll for some reason, like. And so Krang ends up getting tripped up over Donatello's bow staff and whatnot, and he ends up falling into the taxi cab that I guess the door was left open because of the taxi driver leaving. And so eventually Shredder gets Mikey throws Shredder into the back seat, and they go in, they take Shredder's gun and they put that, like, they wedge it on the gas and they let the car go. And it takes off and it like, hits some curbs and stuff and it's just going. But then, so like so it's just driving and I'm like, that's so dangerous. Like they could, like seeing the turtles do something quite like that. Like we've seen them like maybe cause things to explode, but like put two beings in a car and let it go. Like,
no, that might kill him. Just let him go get killed.
That's some Mirage, like just kill the cops kind of thing.
It is some
like,
Mirage shit. It is some Mirage shit.
That's what they did back then. And so
it is.
Anyway, Dregg dodges the taxi as it crumples into some machine, and he opens the cab and offers an alliance to Shredder and Krang again, to team up. And so Shredder and they begrudgingly agree. And Dregg gives Shredder a laser gun, and he starts blasting at the turtles. Well, Donnie says that there's one chance to stop them and for the others to cover him. So Raph picks up a laser gun and starts blasting, which is a rare sight for turtles because they don't usually use guns, but they have on occasion.
That's another sight that goes back to Mirage.
It's true.
Issue 4,
I think so. And so, which also deal with the transport pad and stuff. So yeah, a lot of throwbacks here. So yeah, Donnie runs over to the transport controllers, and he puts in some coordinates. Turns out it's the lair coordinates, and he's got this weird look on his face, like it's super weird. I love it, but it's super weird. What this does is it opens a portal with all the water that was flooded in the sewer coming into the in the middle of the transport pad, and so this is like just gonna flood the whole thing. And so the turtles then and this like flushes Shredder and Krang and Dregg to the floor. The turtles then stand over them and say that they're sending them back to Dimension X. Shredder freaks out, runs over to some switch and pulls it. This apparently is draining the reactor core of the vortex transporter, and that's bad news. Like it's going to cause like an explosion and all kinds of things. And at this point, Leo runs over, it pushes Shredder out of the way and stops the reactor core from overreacting. However, Shredder, again, Ryan, grabs our boy in blue, Leonardo, gets him and pulls him right in there. Like, just right up close. No wiggle room. Tight. Like just in it. Flexing his muscle against his cheek. It's just very sensual. And Shredder then does this and says for the others to lay down their weapons. We see that this happens, and then we see that the turtles and April are tied to some post, and that Shredder and Krang are on the transport mat. Dregg then he flips the switch and he heads over to join them as they're transported somewhere outside of New York. Ryan, we find our boy Carter, and he's driving around and on his motorcycle, and he stops, takes off his helmet, looks back at New York, and wonders if he's doing the right thing. And he's like, how the guys are doing. And he says something that is like, I think, what we've all been saying this whole time is they were fine before him. They're going to be fine without him.
They were fine before him, and they'll do fine without him.
Precisely. And so, so then he puts his helmet back on and continues on his way. So at this point, back presumably on the Dreadnought, I'm not too sure where we're at.
Nope. Back at the power plant.
Is this still the power plant? Because they got on the transport mat. and so that wouldn't be
maybe they're back on the Dreadnought.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
Maybe so. I can't tell sometimes.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it really does. I mean, he has a like a MO for these kind of like fashion and like whatever interior design. That's what I was trying to say. So we see the turtles in like these kind of glass coffin refrigerator type science things that you're usually shown your protagonist in at some point in science fiction. And Mung is over near some machine with some green goop and like some vials or whatever and some hoses and whatnot. He's doing his thing. We get a reference to something, and I don't know if you know anything about this. I didn't get a chance to look this up, but Mikey asks if this reminds the turtles of anything, and Raph says yes, and he cites the invasion of the Alazoids, directed by Ed Cood, 1957. And I wasn't able to look this up, but it's like this is one of the things that longtime Turtletarians will know, that like we generally like will look this stuff up and like try to figure it out. I believe Ryan's on the case right now, and this is something that is like one of those things that it's probably a throwaway line, or it's definitely a reference because they're naming it. But I'm just curious why they choose to do this. Like, why are they choosing to throw this into something? The name alone.
Nope, the closest you get is a movie called Invasion of the Reptoids, which was a movie made in 2011. Nope, that's just an internal reference to the fact that they're always watching those kind of like schlocky B-horror movies.
It's interesting though that they named somebody and gave a year. Like, that's just strange. Like, I can see them saying, "Yeah, Invasions of the Alazoids" or whatever.
You remember that whole season that all they did was watch movies?
Yeah, because they beat
about how bored they were because Shredder and Krang were gone.
Yes. And
bro,
so, I wonder if that's a throwback to this.
Stayed in the dome.
Yeah,
stayed in the dome.
It has to be, because that's just so strange for them to throw that out there, especially when this is going to come back to be this whole situation is going to be another reference to something we've already seen. So, at this point, Dregg is pontificating about how in a few moments I will be the most powerful being in the universe. And he explains to the turtles what's been happening. Like, all the stuff they stole from him and stuff like that is cobbled together with the stuff they've extracted from the turtles, which is what he's doing currently, is extracting their DNA or whatever. And like, this is going to be the stuff that he's going to use to make himself the greatest in the universe. And so as Dregg's talking about all this, Shredder's looking at this beaker of like glowing ooze kind of material and stuff. And
your boy Shredder's like, when am I going to make my play?
Right, exactly. Yeah, he's running all the strategies and trying to like figure out like what he's going to do. As Dregg's talking about like their mutations and all this stuff, and at this point, Shredder turns and grabs Mung again. No blasters in sight, really. Just grabs Mung, and he and Krang orders Dregg on the table. Dregg then says, "But I can make you a super being. Like I thought we were gonna work together. What are you doing? Why are you like quadruple crossing me again? Yeah. I can make you a super being." And Krang just flat out says, "We don't need you for that, Dregg." Like, yeah, they've been making super beings like for like 10 years.
Blooded. That is so cold-blooded. I love that though. That's amazing.
It was fantastic. And so Shredder then commands Mung to transfuse him and Krang with the turtle's mutagen. So then Dregg ends up pressing a button, which is able to unleash the microbots. The microbots then come out and they put shackles on Shredder and Krang. They also then make 2 other operating tables, if I'm not mistaken, and Dregg starts cackling, and he's just like, "Yeah, this was my plan all along. I was going to get y'all in on this too, and have all the turtles plus y'all like mutated all together with me and all this stuff." And yeah,
well, he kind of clarifies like with the turtles. strength of their mutation, and with your combined like intelligence,
right?
I'm gonna be like brains and brawn.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
right?
he said mental
Because
energy.
divides it up.
Yeah, mental energy is what he said.
Yeah.
So so
pretty
that best of both worlds, I guess, is what he's looking for. But it's neat that he kind of anticipated this and that he was playing the long game, and I kind of like that. So they start the process and it appears to be working. We end up seeing a shadow that goes past. Oh, I forgot to mention April's here too, but she's in like this red. She's in a cell.
Briefly, yeah, she's in like a force field kind of thing.
Right, but it's the same thing that Leo was in last episode. But I think that his bars were blue and hers are red now for some reason. But a shadow passes her, and then it passes the turtles as we see them in here. And Michelangelo goes, "Oh, my dream," and we get a to be continued, which is
yeah. No, I mean like I'm not like.
Pretty rare for 87 animated series, and
don't hate it.
So that's
kind of
love it. That's the episode.
My dream.
Yeah. And
my dream.
Yeah, it's weird that they. I don't know. How do you feel about this? What do you think? Like, because this is rare form for the turtles to be in.
You know, man, I gotta say that the TAS giveth and striketh and give a flower. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, like that's kind of like what this is. So I wasn't the biggest fan of like the Splinter like reversal of like Splinter's wise advice like makes no sense. Carter seems to just choose whatever he thinks.
Right.
And then Splinter's like, "You're very wise." And I'm like, okay. But you've been pointing toward like, no, like keep your mutation. You're blessed. I want to get rid of it. Sounds great.
Right.
That was kind of weird. All this like talk about like altruism. I'm like, Splinter, you gotta be smarter than that. That part was kind of weird because I just didn't like the way that like Carter did. I just didn't like the way that all went down. I feel like they've been building this up over the last 2 episodes. It's the kind of the hard open of the 3rd episode, and you're gonna cure him, but you do it with this like faulty logic that makes no sense, that no one's operating under anything like that makes logical sense, and then they just do it. Outside of that, and like Shredder's like kind of like crabby voice, like that kind of pulled me out of it for him. I kind of loved everything else about this. I love the fact that they open up with the dream. And then he's like, yeah, Mike, he's like, I told you.
Yeah.
This is like my dream. I'm like, I like that a lot. As you guys know, longtime listeners, my absolute 100% favorite episode of the TMNT animated series was a dream episode. Yeah. So like, I'm about bringing that back in. I love Shredder and Krang. I love the brattiness. I love their punk rock attitude. Love it to death. I love that it shows they're absolutely incapable of being compatible with another alpha. They're like, no.
Yeah,
just
no, not gonna happen.
Like, even when like it looks like they could play the long game with Dregg, where they're kind of like, let him like mutate, let him kill the turtles. He's gonna kill the turtles, and then he might mutate himself into something powerful, and maybe we can fight him then. I don't know, man. Like, they're like, no, like we just can't like tolerate.
Yeah, no.
This conqueror of worlds, ruler of men, dude. We can't. I can't tolerate it anymore.
Right.
And yeah, I liked everything else about it. Like besides that little funky thing with Carter.
Yeah.
And no. Honestly, it's everything involving Carter in this episode to me is like not so hot. But the rest, good stuff.
Oh yeah, I agree. I Carter is the weak point, and he pretty much has been. He's gotten better, but like at the same time, I'm right there with you. I think that he is the weakest link, if you will. The to be continued is pretty neat. Like I'm pretty interested in that. I'm still curious what the power of 3 was. I don't know which 3, because that's the title of the episode. I'm curious if they meant like Dregg, Krang, and Shredder, but then there's Mung. So what about him? But like, was it Shredder, Krang, and April? Like maybe that. I don't know. I'm interested to see where that's going to come into play. But
Same.
but the to be continued's always neat, but it's very trippy in this episode especially because we mentioned off mic that like these episodes, especially season 10, have felt a little strange because we've done like 10 seasons. We're doing 10 seasons of this show, and there's a beat that they hit that they usually do, and so sometime in the like the middle, like you can tell when the climax is and when it's gonna turn over.
Yeah, you're waiting for it to resolve. Yeah,
but like with these contiguous seasons, my brain still hasn't processed that that's a different formula, and that like so I'm thinking stuff happens sooner or late. Like I can't get a firm grasp on like when we're doing the notes, like when certain things happen, like as I would have in a regular episode because it's pretty linear. But with this,
or so you saw like the beats and how it works, and here it's like like it's
right.
opened up.
Right, and with it being contiguous, like it doesn't have to follow a lot of the same beats, like to reintroduce everything from the start back at one, Brian McKnight. It doesn't have to do that. So that was kind of tripping me up this episode a little bit, but I loved all the punk rock stuff with Shredder and Krang. That was fantastic, and April still being like she was wanting a change in her life, like. I love it, but it's I wish they would kind of talk a little bit more about it. Maybe get the Turtles' thoughts on it, but like have them like have some apprehension about contacting April if they do, but they don't seem to. So I'd like to see a little bit of that. But other than that, I was pretty happy with this and really excited to see where these next couple episodes are going to go. Because I think we got 5 more. Is that right? Because this was 3 and there's 8. So yeah, I think we got 5 more episodes. So yeah, that's not too many. So there you go.
Not too many.
Well, that's gonna do it for this episode of Turtle Soup. So thank you everyone for showing up and watching on YouTube and being in the chat. We sincerely appreciate y'all, and thank you for everybody who's listening. We couldn't do this without y'all, and but we really want to know what y'all think. Are you still liking Carter? Is Carter do you want to go to college? When does a listener email? When does a listener decide to email? We need to know this.
Oh.
And so,
that's great. You mean maybe the answer I'll give is Wisecracking Raph is when they hear of a contest.
That's true. That is a very that could be. So
you get to say, I know you're joking, but actually you're right.
But you're right.
What?
Yeah, you're exactly right. What? Huh?
I'm right.
Let me record that.
Wait a minute.
And play that back. So you can do that by turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. You can also go to the home of the internet, turtlesoupshow.com. Has all our old episodes, has like links to everything. It's a bunch of stuff up there. Likewise, we're on YouTube. Got all of our stuff. Well, we're getting all of our stuff put on there eventually, but it's slowly but surely coming along. And so that'll be a destination to go to. Subscribe, like, comment. That helps us out a lot. And as we mentioned earlier, you can be entered to win the TMNT 87 Turtle Van box set, Ryan's own. And so then you can also go to the Facebook group. That's where a lot of stuff happens, where a lot of news for the show and turtle related stuff happens and shared with other fans of the podcast, and a lot of good people there. You can follow us on Instagram, Turtle Soup Show with the underscores between each word. We're on a lot of the other socials, so just look for us there that way. And then and if you want to find ways to help support the channel, you can do so by looking in the subscription or description below. But also pretty much the best way to do it. I say the best. I mean, the best of the best go here. I just got to put it that way. They go to Patreon, and they're like, I'm gonna throw some pennies the boys' way. You know what I'm saying? And they go there and they find a lot of cool stuff.
As 100 pennies a month, everybody.
Right. You can be
100 pennies.
Helping support the podcast, showing your support so we don't say clang, and helping us to get through the electrified seaweed that is our lives, and the cost of producing a show such as this. And we have many of your fellow Turtletarians have taken on the task and for a very long time, and we sincerely appreciate all of them, and past and present. And so if you feel like joining that elite group of people, you could do so by going to patreon.com and looking for Turtle Soup and find We Done Been Making a Podcast. And so speaking of being done been making a podcast, we're done been making this episode. So else time?
Eagles gotta fly. That's what's up.